The Opium Wars were a pair of devastating conflicts in the mid-19th century that forever changed China and exposed the ruthless lengths empires would go to protect profit. At the heart of these wars was opium, a highly addictive drug, and the clash between British trade interests and Chinese sovereignty. By the late 18th century, Britain had developed an insatiable appetite for Chinese goods, tea, silk, and porcelain. But China had little interest in British products. This created a massive trade imbalance, draining Britain of silver. To fix the problem, Britain turned to opium, grown in India under the British East India Company. The drug was illegally smuggled into China, and by the early 1800s, millions of Chinese were addicted. Suddenly, silver flowed out of China instead of Britain, reversing the trade imbalance and fueling British profits. The Chinese government, alarmed by the social and economic devastation, attempted to stop the opium trade. In 1839, the imperial commissioner Lin Zexu took a dramatic stand, confiscating and destroying more than 20,000 chests of opium in Guangzhou. This bold act provoked Britain, which viewed it as an attack on their lucrative trade. Using industrial-era weapons and steam-powered ships, Britain launched the First Opium War. Despite China's large population, their outdated weapons and tactics could not match British firepower, leading to a humiliating defeat. The Treaty of Nanking in 1842 forced China to cede Hong Kong, open 5 ports to British trade, and pay massive reparations, marking the beginning of a series of unequal treaties that eroded Chinese sovereignty. Tensions simmered for years, and in 1856, a second conflict broke out. Britain was joined by France, and minor disputes provided the pretext for war, though the underlying goal remained the same: secure more trade and legalize opium. The Second Opium War ended with the capture of Beijing, the looting of the Summer Palace, and the signing of the Treaty of Tientsin. Opium trade was legalized, foreign envoys were allowed in Beijing, and China's independence suffered further blows. The consequences were severe. China entered a century of humiliation, marked by foreign domination, internal rebellions, and economic turmoil, while Britain and other Western powers profited enormously. Millions of Chinese lives were affected by addiction and war, and the nation's sovereignty was deeply weakened. The Opium Wars remain a stark example of how imperial ambition and commerce can outweigh morality. They reveal the human cost of greed and the power imbalance between nations, while also shaping the course of modern Chinese history. The wars serve as a reminder of the dark side of globalization before it was even called that, when profit was prioritized over people, and the consequences echoed for generations.